Hello there, you're welcome to Rhema Moment with Pastor Austin. This evening, I want to talk to you about the concept of divine disciplinary dealings. You know, when God wants to use a man, God can use anyone, but God doesn't just use anyone. You see, God takes you through a period of refining, a process of training. And that process of training is called divine disciplinary dealings. You know, God is going to inculcate into you some disciplines, some consecration that is required for destiny. It is when you imbibe those disciplines and consecration with this understanding of the fact that if you don't do those things, then what God has prepared for you will not manifest. You know, in as much as God has prepared a place for us, God also prepares us for the place. And that's where a lot of people miss it because they do not subscribe to divine disciplinary dealings. They do not subscribe to the trainings required, the consecrations required for them to carry the destiny that God has ordained for them. In Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 27, the Amplified Version says, "It is good for a man that he should bear the yoke of divine disciplinary dealings in his youth." Then verse 28 says, "Let him sit alone and uncomplaining, keeping silent in hope, because God had laid the yoke upon him for his benefit." Verse 29 says, "Let him put his mouth in the dust in abject recognition of his unworthiness. There may yet be hope." Verse 30 says, "Let him give his cheek to the one who smites him, even through his human agent. Let him be filled with men's reproach in meekness." Verse 31 says, "For the Lord will not cast off forever." Glory to Jesus. So it's important you subscribe to the trainings of God for your destiny at the early stages of your life. It is very, very important. So such a thing is what is called divine disciplinary dealings, where you pray, you fast, God takes you through trainings, you are under authority, and at those moments, you see, you really don't get much results. But the reason is this: until you are much with God, you cannot be much for God. What we call ministry or leadership is an overflow of your encounters with God, an overflow of your relationship with God, an overflow of your dealings with God. And so until you are prepared in the secret place, when the spotlight is beamed on you, it's going to show your preparation or lack of it. So that's why it's not enough to say God has called you. It's not enough to keep shouting the vision. The next thing is, what must I do to get to where God has shown me? And those things are what is called divine disciplinary dealings. And God is saying that the best time is this: subscribe to it in your youth. These things are seasonal. So make sure that when God is calling you, now that God is calling you to pray, to fast, to serve, do those things, because at the end of the day, it's going to pay off and it's going to make you the person that God has ordained for you to be. I hope this blessed you. Till I see you next week, God bless you.